Good evening, everyone. Cheers. That always takes me by surprise when it just kind of, you get that from this end of the screen, you get the little kind of circling kind of donut of death, you know, the Catherine wheel going round, and it's rather hypnotic. And then all of a sudden it says, "You're live." So that's why I always look like a stunned mullet. When I arrive on the scene. First of all, I just want to say a few thank yous. Well, a massive thank you to everyone who turned up for the get together last week. I can't believe it's already got a week since we all met up for a few beers. It's fair to say we had, and a rather splendid curry afterwards. There was, you chaps know who was there. Johnny Random was there. Thank you so much, Johnny. Steve Hoggart, Craig was there, and Nigel Arthur was there, and a whole host of others. Michael was there. Just, thank you one and all for turning up. I can't believe the distances that some of you people travelled, some of you lads travelled just to come and have a beer with me. It's humbling. It really is. Oh, Jeff Proctor's in. How are you, Jeff? Let's do the register, actually. Let's see who we've got in this evening. Who was first in the... who was the one that was queuing? Anton. Yes, we missed you, Anton. Yes, Anton's saying, hopefully another meet-up soon. Yes, I've got some news on that. The short answer is yes, but I want to go into some details about that. Johnny Random, how are you, mate? Nice to meet you. Vincent Brennan, David Evans, Phil, Deco Dude, Jack Collins, Sean House, Lee Marano. Yes, it was a blast, mate. Michael Palmer, how are you, Michael? Nice to see you there the other night. Michael Dodds, John, you must have sold the Strat. Yes, indeed I have. It's in Wales now with its very happy new owner. Chip Young, how are you, mate? Where are we? Craig Welsh and Malcolm Spillett. Yes, Malcolm, apologies for not being in touch since my internet meltdown on Sunday. Yeah, our internet just died on Sunday afternoon, Sunday lunchtime, and I was supposed to be doing a Zoom interview with Malcolm about his extensive guitar collection, and so we shall reschedule. I've had such a busy week, Malcolm. I haven't had time to kind of fart, basically. So, well, I have, but I'll be in touch, mate, and we can reschedule that. Brad Matthews is in. Stephen Hawkins Treadmill, unusual name. Good evening to you. Michael Clark, how are you, Michael? Pablo Hank, just confirm for me, Pablo, if you don't mind. I was mentioning the Williams Music Shop in Middlesbrough in a video the other day, and there was obviously somebody who was involved with that company who was saying, we never had a branch in Middlesbrough. And you seem to remember somebody that used to work there. I'm not making this up. I mean, there was a branch of Williams Music in Middlesbrough. If you could just confirm that I'm not kind of, harbouring false memories or anything. Where are we? Sargy's in. How are you, mate? Ian Clark. Beer o'clock is back and all is well in the world. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Das Schaff, how are you, mate? Flake, yes, not really this week. I'm on a different beer this week. We've got the Rheinbacher Pilsner, the Aldi not quite stellar knockoff. This is only 4.5%, and I am trying to be a little bit more conscious of the alcohol. I'm basically, what I'm trying to do is, instead of having less beers, I'm trying to have less alcohol in the beers that I'm having. Where are we? Let's have a look at the new comments. Was that the one in what's now Captain Cook Square, John? No, that was the Middlesbrough Music Shop, Colin. Middlesbrough Music Shop was just a little independent place, sadly no longer there. many of us remember Uncle Tony from that place and the debate about whether that was his own hair or not. Williams was like a chain of music shops around the northeast. I think they had them in Newcastle, Darlington, and various other places. Thank you, Curtis. Yes, it's good to be back, mate. Yes, let's just put you up on screen there. Did you see the news from Mike at CGS? Yes, I did. I got to tell you, I had a bit of a chat with Mike before he made that public. And he told me what the score was then, and it's it's just, I mean, what do you say? What do you say? I mean, fingers crossed for Mike that it's not what he hopes it isn't. So there we go. Yeah, it's just one of those nasty little curveballs that life has a habit of throwing, isn't it? Yeah, your old guitar teacher, Pablo. There was a branch in Middlesbrough. Anyway, I got some running tallies to share with you. Dear me, that tastes good. The Super Strat poll. I checked the comments just before I went live, and these are the totals we've got at the moment. If you remember, it was a choice between a Yamaha Pacifica 311H, the humbucker and P90, a Michael Kelly HSS Strat, the Sire Larry Carlton HSS, the Harley Benton Fusion 3, the Court something or other, I can't remember the model number, but basically the one that Darryl Braun reviewed, and a G&L HSS thing. Right, okay, so the Pacifica currently has 10 votes. The Michael Kelly, 2 votes. The Larry Carlton Sire, 15 votes. 3 votes for the Harley Benton Fusion 3. The Court is currently the front runner with 18 votes, and the G&L has 10 votes. So that's the way it's going. It looks like if this kind of opinion poll or readers poll or whatever keeps going, it looks like at some point in the next few days I'm going to be ordering that Court thing, which, oh, excuse me, knocked the mic, which I will be most happy to check out. Literally, I mean, people have been saying, why didn't you choose this Ibanez, or why didn't you choose that Chapman guitar? Well, I started off with about 20 guitars that were all sort of sub 500 quid HSS Strats, and then ruled some out just because I didn't like the look of them, and ruled others out because, well, Ibanez especially, they make lovely guitars. But Phil McKnight in one of his videos recently said something that I agreed with. He says, there's no way Ibanez make a $300 guitar that's as good as a Harley Benton $300 guitar. That sort of price bracket isn't where they do their best work. And having played a few sub 500 quid Ibanezes, I would say, well, I'd probably go along with that. Get to the sort of 500 to $1,000 kind of price point, and you're kind of into more safe territory with Ibanezes. The AZES Ibanezes, I did have a look at those, but I don't know, they didn't float me boat, I'll be honest with you. Let's put you up on screen, Cornucopia. Thank you, first of all. Could you please, sir, share your opinion on Godin guitars? They are beautiful guitars. I briefly had a Godin Strat style guitar, which was the most pretty looking thing. It was like in a sort of a burr walnut finish. And this is about 1994-ish, I seem to remember having this. It was a lovely guitar. The only reason I didn't keep it was because I had a Strat at the time. And that was my main guitar. And I went through this kind of thing of having a backup guitar that was essentially another Strat. And you know, it was like, well, I've already got a Strat, and that's when I think the Gordon Smith was the next guitar I got after that one, actually. But yeah, beautiful guitars. I've owned one. A good mate of mine back then had like a Godin Telecaster style guitar with a beautiful carved maple top on it, and seem to remember it had Hot Rails pickups in it. A beautiful, beautiful thing. I've never heard a bad word said about them. I've only played a couple of them, and they were exquisite guitars. And you know, just look at the reviews they get. Fantastic reviews. So, you know, there you go. You bought a Godin radiator guitar from Williams in the Borough. Yeah, thank you for confirming it was there, Pablo. Let me put you up on screen there, Grandpa. Do you play gigs with expensive gear, or do you play a Squire or Epiphone? Well, that's not really a question for me, because unfortunately I don't really gig these days because, well, you know that old joke, what's the difference between a large pizza and a working musician? The pizza can feed a family. You know, there just isn't a living to be made. Certainly not in this area. If you are gigging, it's okay doing it for a hobby, but you know, I got a mortgage to pay, and the guitar is the way I pay it. And you know, teaching and YouTube and Patreon is the way that I've found, which is, you know, kind of enabling me to pay the bills. So I don't really gig, but I get your point. You know, it depends where I'd be gigging, really. If I was gigging at a local pub and I knew the venue and I was, you know, kind of secure in the knowledge that I could keep an eye on my equipment, then I would take the good stuff. But if I'm playing at, you know, like we used to, one band I was in, we used to play various kind of festivals and stuff, you know, where there's a lot of people, a lot of other band members, people I don't know and haven't met, and their friends, and those bands' roadies and stuff like that. And you don't know these people, and they're all allowed backstage, and you know, where things can just kind of grow legs and walk away. Then I think that would be an occasion to take the cheap disposable Bic lighter guitar. So that's you know, that would be my answer. It would depend on the venue. Anyway, we need to talk about the next get-together, because there is going to be one. Yes, I was hashing this out with Mr. Bridge, Mr. Bottleneck Bob. I don't know if he's in tonight, is he? He doesn't always make it. Ian's saying the Vansons arrived. Just need to get brave with the soldering iron now. Go on, Ian, you can do it, mate. Yes, those of you who very kindly turned up last week will remember that little whiskey bar around the corner from the curry house where we ended up. And the owner of that place was talking to Bob, and Bob later spoke to me that basically they're up for putting on a jam night. If anybody's interested in that as a bit of a get together. My only concerns with having that kind of do are that just the logistics of it. If you're going to do a jam night, you're going to need kind of a PA system. You're going to need backline amplification. You're going to need a bass player who is, you know, willing to, you know, play all night, and a drummer who's willing to play all night. And I just get the feeling, because I'm the chap on the ground in this part of the world, a lot of the organisation would fall to me, which I don't really have time to do. And the fact that I don't drive is another complicating factor, which would mean that, you know, well, there's a PA system needs picking up, and, you know, I've got to kind of get it there on the bus, you know. So I'm not saying that's that idea isn't going to happen. I think it's a fantastic idea. It's just I would need some assistance with the logistics of it. I might have to see if you know, if Mr. Hoggart could pitch in, maybe, because he's local. So Oh, you're in, are you, Bob? I noticed that you are Neck Bridge these days. What's happened to the bottle off the front of your moniker there, mate? So basically, what we're going to do for this idea of a jam night is, if anybody's willing to pitch in and help out, or if you know a drummer, if you're local to this area and you know somebody that can help me out with, kind of organising it, then just get in touch via the usual manner. My website is in the link is in the description to this live stream. It's in all my videos. There's an email form there. Get in touch, and let's see if we can sort of put something together like this. How many turned up last Friday for a beer and a curry, says Dave Lewis. To be honest, I didn't really keep account, and I must apologise. I mean, I think there's about 10 or 11 of us all told. And I noticed in the chat earlier, somebody said, did anybody get barred or thrown out? My oldest mate, a chap I've known for 40 years, since we were both young, fresh-faced Merchant Navy radio officer cadets, he turned up. He lives down South Leighton Buzzard, and I've never seen that man so drunk in all my life, in all the 40 years I've known him. He was absolutely paralytic and fell off his chair in the curry house, and then the owners of the curry house had a quiet word with me and said, can you get him out, please? I think they were scared he was going to do the Technicolor yawn all over the tablecloth. So I sent him home because he was kipping in our spare room at the time, which looks very much like this office. And then I got about 10 minutes later, I got an irate phone call from the missus. Are you coming home? You'd better not be in the same state as him. So that was the end of my evening's festivities, but a fine time was had by all. A drummer with a free night, I have some hen's teeth to sell. Well, let's put you up on the screen there, Green Wave. Welcome, mate. New sub, love the channel. Well, thank you very much, mate. I hope you're having a beer with us. Thank you for subscribing. I'll just say that now. And always great to see the numbers swelling a little bit. Hope he didn't redecorate the spare room. No, he didn't. No, that was. Well, he would have cleaned it up himself if he had. I'll tell you that much. How old are you, Rob? I think I'll make it. I'm 54. I was born in 1967, and as my dad always said to me, he said, "Son, if England hadn't won the World Cup in '66, you'd never have come along," which is nice to know. I get into trouble with a sniff of a barmaid's apron. Yes, indeed. Could use a drum machine. Yeah, do you know the difference between a drummer and a drum machine, don't you, there, Phil? Yeah, with a machine, you only have to punch the information in the once. Have got that Gibson tribute on order. Not told the bank manager yet. Was wondering why Gibson and Marshall got a sort of double act going on. Well, they did, didn't they? Weren't those Lab Series amps that came out in the 70s, which weren't universally regarded as great amps? You would think Gibson and Marshall getting together because, hey, our guitars sound great through your amps and our amps sound good with your guitars. They came up with these Lab Series amps, which I think were solid state. They just weren't that good. Mind you, Larry Carlton used one, I think, for a little while, but they weren't universally regarded as that good. Well, thank you, Malcolm. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Malcolm is just chucked a fiver in the hat there for Zoe's Place. If anybody, any new subscribers like Greenwave don't know about Zoe's Place, basically when I first started this channel, it was I started to notice that when I reviewed guitars, that those videos got loads of views, and so I started a GoFundMe to raise money to buy guitars, and then I did the reviews of the guitars. Those videos got loads of reviews, and then I donated the guitars, or the proceeds of the sale of the guitars, to a local baby hospice around here called Zoe's Place. And quite a few generous people are still donating guitars to that charity. They send them to me. I'll do a video on them if I have the time. Which that is in short supply at the moment, and then the charity then sells the guitars on, and I do like to support that charity because it's a very small fish in a very big pond. You know, all of the big charities, you know, tend to, like the Oxfams and the Save the Children's, and you know, all of very deserving causes that have got the budget to do the big publicity campaigns. But Zoe's Place do a lot of great work, and you know, they don't have the budget for big advertising campaigns. I did a Christmas charity single for them a couple of years ago. I might do another one this year. We shall see. The Time Prophet, let's put you up on screen, mate. I prefer your videos on playing the guitar rather than reviewing the guitars. Can I let you into a secret, mate? I prefer doing the tuition type videos. Because that's I enjoy teaching. I enjoy getting the knowledge across and kind of maybe solving a problem for somebody. But here's the thing: I do a video where I'm teaching something, and it'll get 1,000 views before it just kind of starts slipping down the algorithm. That's a good number of views for a tuition video. I do a video where I'm taking a guitar out of a cardboard box, an unboxing video, or I'm doing some kind of review video, and it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views. And as I say, I got bills to pay, so you know, those are the videos that seem to be the ones that get the most views. Those are the ones that I have to kind of, you know, do some of at least. And I'm trying to. Well, I've got this business model at the moment that seems to be working, where if I can get a really good price on a guitar, and do a bunch of videos with that guitar, and then sell it on, and maybe take a little bit of a loss on the guitar when I sell it on, but the revenue from the videos more than offsets the loss that I make on selling the guitar on. So it's, you know, for example, this guitar, this thing here, this Harley Benton SC550, I don't want to kind of give too much away, but essentially the videos I made with that guitar have paid for that guitar, you know. Love the video, the cheapest rig you could gig with. Don't know if Jack Pearson genuinely plays a bullet. That is stock. Apparently that's the case. Apparently he said in interviews that the only thing he's changed is the volume knob. I think it's either a black scratch plate or a white scratch plate that had black, or, you know, the same color knobs on it. And he's changed the knob to like the white on black or black on white, so that he can see it under stage lights. John, did you see the message where I said I would help out with the logistics for a jam night at the Whiskey Bar? I didn't see that, mate, but thank you, Bob. Yes, we shall have a bit of a back and forth on email. Let's see if we can involve Mr. Hoggart as well, because he has got the world's supply of equipment. I'm sure he could rustle up a PA system that is probably the most, you know, essential part of equipment for the evening. I really want to make this work. I'm just saying that you know, there are logistics to deal with. In a way, oh, thank you, Com. Thank you, mate, to top up the Lecky meter. Yes, long time since you had the coin slot meter, isn't it? Yes, I remember that from me younger days. Vincent says, in a way, you're doing the heavy lifting for us rather than taking a chance on buying blind. Well, I've never seen it like that, but well, you know, I've got to tell you, you know, it's the best job in the world. I mean, I put in about 70 hours a week, teaching and making videos and just all the kind of general, when you're a small business sole trader, there's just a certain amount of admin and bookkeeping that you've got to do, and it adds up to about 70 hours a week in an average week, and it's not unusual for that to be more than that. My mate is getting a Harley Benton CE 120 acoustic. Are they any good, John? I've got a Harley Benton acoustic. You can see behind me there in the corner. I'm not sure what model number it is, but no complaints about that. Oh, thank you, Craig. Right. Well, I tell you what, all the chaps who are local to here and are willing to help out for the jam night, ping me an email and, you know, we'll have a bit of a back and forth, maybe a Zoom conversation or something where we can sort of, you know, get some organisation going on. How good are you on bass guitar? Depends how many takes I have. Oh, thank you, Johnny Random. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Let's put that up on screen. Get yourself a pint and give Zoe the change. You are an absolute diamond. Thank you so much, mate. Oh, Bottleneck Bob's got a van. Even better. Yes, thank you, mate. My only concern with you, Bob, is that it is a bit of a long old hike from, you know, you're from Sheffield where you are up to here. It's not like you're just round the corner. Steve Muskie's in. Morning. What have I missed? I'll tell you what we've all missed. I haven't told you what's on the channel next week, have I? I've usually done this by now. We're nearly halfway through. Excuse me. I need more beer. Oh dear me. Right. Coming up. Where are we? Sunday. There is the very final last video I made with the Player Series Strat. It's a solo in the Aeolian mode, which is the follow-on to Wednesday's video. Quite a nice solo. That I'm quite proud of that one. So you know, just check it out. Then Monday, here's one for you. Monday, the usual solo analysis video is a rockabilly themed. I'm not going to say it's a full-on rockabilly solo, but it's kind of got a rockabilly feel to it from the late 80s. Anybody got any ideas what that one might be? I'll give you a clue. Female vocals on the track. That might be a little bit of a clue. Then on Tuesday, we are talking about guitars again, a top 5 Tuesday list. So far, I've done Buyer's Remorse, guitars that I was, you know, never quite bonded with. And then I've done Seller's Remorse, guitars I wish I'd never parted with. Tuesday's video are the top 5 guitars that, quite honestly, just make me go, nah. As long as there is breath in my body, I will never own one of those guitars. So that's Tuesday's video. Then on Wednesday, I've got a really interesting take on the Pentatonic Scale, something that I've only just discovered. Not that I've just discovered, but something that I've just kind of realized that I'm doing when I'm playing with pentatonic scales. And the title of the video is I'm Done Teaching the Caged System. Here's why. So it's a great way of organizing the pentatonic scale on the neck. Then on Thursday, a bit of a special video on Thursday. You all know this guitar, Blondie. Here she is. Look at that lovely top on there. This is my signature model guitar by, as I'm sure you all know, Scott Guitars UK. This is serial number 001 of that production run. Well, I managed to get my hands on serial number 002, and we're going to be comparing them on Thursday, and that is the week's videos. But by Friday, we're back on the beer again, and we'll be talking about what's happening next week. No, not Imelda May, Anton. I'm sure I've missed some comments here. Yes. It's time to pour a beer. Somebody's saying flake. The thing is, this Rheinbacher Pilsner, which is, as I say, Aldi's, it's obviously Aldi's Harley Benton version of some beer or other. It doesn't really kind of go for the sort of flake head on it, as you're about to say. Mind you, it'll make a liar of me now. But you see what I mean? It's coming out a bit sort of... Actually, there we go. There's the flake. There's the flake head. There. And yes, especially for you lads, I managed that one. But it kind of subsides rather quickly. But I don't care. It's cold and it tastes of beer. And those are the main things. So... any suggestions on monitors/speakers to listen to when using bias amp, etc.? I play through an amp, but tempted to have a go with modelling. My spare room studio office looks similar to yours. Right. Well, here's the thing. I break all the rules when it comes to monitoring, and any competent studio owner would be appalled at what I use. I just use a simple little 2.1 speaker system that you would hook up to your TV or computer, and it sounds okay. I should really invest in a set of studio monitors, but here's the thing. I did, about 10 years. I've been using these for years. About 10 years ago, I did a project in here just using these speakers that I then took into Steve Hoggett's studio and listened to the mix back that I'd done on Steve's kind of uber kind of professional system, and it sounded really good. It sounded like no kind of EQ correction or anything needed. So by accident, I won't say by accident or design, purely by accident, I seem to have got a reasonably good setup here. It's just like the typical kind of system that you have hooked up to your TV, a little bass bin on the floor and two kind of satellite speakers, and it just seems to work. I have studio monitors, but it's more important to have dampening on the walls to absorb the sound. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure all the guitars act as some kind of baffle kind of thing. And if you look behind me there, you can see there's always a pile of bedding in that corner there. So that's sort of acting as a bit of a bass trap. And it's just all the junk piled in this room, frankly, which acts as, as I say, by accident, not by design, seems to act as a reasonable, kind of reasonably credible acoustic treatment for this room. John, I agree with you on speakers. Would you agree when you get to know your speaker headphones, that's all you need? That is a big part of it, yes. I mean, I've got a set of absolutely knackered Sennheiser headphones here. And I've had these for years. And as you can see, there's all kind of electrical tape holding them together and everything. But I know if any mix I do sounds good on these headphones, then it's pretty much going to be a good sounding mix. So it's just knowing your equipment, really. Was transcribing a song on Guitar Pro 7 and needed to do a nested tuplet within a triplet, which annoyingly the software doesn't do yet. Solved it by choosing 9:2 ratio of 9 beats. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Johnny. There are some limitations I find in Guitar Pro all the time, and it's those kind of niggly little, timing issues. Fairground attraction, perfect. Yes, there you got it, William Forrest. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. That is Monday's solo. It's a cracking little solo by a guitarist called Mark Nevin, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, and that was the second last solo that or video that I made with the Player Series Strat. I really wanted to love that guitar and fall in love with it. I love your T-shirt, but I think the Hurricane was nasty. I would agree with you on that. The Hurricane was the plane that won the Battle of Britain, frankly. You know, but this one was just, it just appealed to me, and it reminded me of making model Spitfires when I was a kid. I would welcome a lesson in Guitar Pro. I use Guitar Pro 7, but I have trouble getting the right number of notes per bar. Yeah, I did do a video, oh gosh, it's got to be a year or so more, on how I tab stuff out in Guitar Pro. I'm still on Guitar Pro 5. And the reason I use Guitar Pro 5 is because GP5 files, well, first of all, the reason I use Guitar Pro 5 is because I've been using it for years, and I just know all of the little keyboard shortcuts, and it does everything I need, and my workflow is really fast with it, so that's why I use it. And I'm scared of like kind of having to go through that learning curve of learning the new version of something. But the other thing is with Guitar Pro 5 is that not everyone that I teach has Guitar Pro, and not everybody that I teach wants to spend 70 or 80 quid on a piece of software. But with Guitar Pro 5 GP5 files, you can open them in Tux Guitar, which is a free piece of software. It's not as good as Guitar Pro, but it's a bit like what Open Office is to Microsoft Office. It kind of does the same sort of thing, but it's not quite as intuitive. So I use GP5 because, as I said, mainly because I'm lazy and I don't want to learn the newer versions. Yes, Sergio, I was just talking about Tux Guitar there. The main thing about Tux Guitar is it's free. I first started tabbing stuff out years ago, 20 years ago, in a piece of software called MuseEdit, which I believe is free these days. Where are we? The solo on Kid by the Pretenders is brilliant. Yeah, that'll be James Honeyman Scott, wouldn't it? Yeah, I've been thinking about sort of just stepping outside of the usual suspects, all the kind of blues rock guys that I usually tend to cover. So that might be a one to kind of think of. John, thoughts on a looper pedal? I used to use one years ago, about 6-7 years ago, on my last foray into gigging, when it was just basically a guitar vocals duo. And it was a handy kind of thing to do, because all I used to do with it was just grab a loop of the verse or chorus chord sequence, so I then had something to solo over. So I wasn't the most creative looper that ever existed. I just used to use it as a kind of an ad hoc backing track to do me solos over in a guitar vocals duo. But I don't know. I keep thinking about getting one, and then thinking, well, would I use it really? But I suppose it's the kind of thing I could do. You can buy a looper pedal now for 40 quid. So even if I got it, it's kind of just a handy thing to have, and it's 40 quid. I'm sure I can, well, I wouldn't be buying it, would I? It would be it would be tax deductible. So HMRC would be paying for that one. Notice you had the beer o'clock sticker flaking it t-shirt on for the Bottleneck Bob Fender clash. Yes, me and Bob did that video not long before we went out on going to wear it tonight, but I'm afraid it's in the wash. What I'm going to do with, because that kindly sent to me by Dave Lewis, and with your blessing, Dave, would you mind if I took that design and put it on a T-shirt for people to buy on my T-shirt store? Is that okay? Would you mind me doing that? What's this? Seeing as the Spitfire and Hurricane have been mentioned, perhaps the jam band should be called Miss Shilling's Orifice. Yeah, okay. There's worse names, I suppose. Yes, that's a good tip there, Johnny Love. I use Guitar Pro with Transcribe software. Transcribe slows the music and keeps the pitch. You can then simply count out the beats to work out the patterns. Easy with practice. I do a similar thing. What I'll often do if there's something fast and twiddly and kind of where it's just a blur of notes at full speed, providing you've got a good bitrate MP3 or better still a WAV file, you can load it into Audacity, which if you don't have Audacity, it's free. Just get it, and it's so useful for so many things. And you know what I'll then do is there's a function in Audacity where you can change the tempo, so it changes the speed of the music without altering the pitch, and that's what I'll do. It's a far cry, isn't it, from those days? I'm sure many of us remember having. Oh, you're very welcome. Yes, thank you, Nigel. Let's put you up on screen there. Nigel mislaid a jacket when he was, on the get-together last week, and I spent a little time going around the venues that where we were on the evening out. I spent a little bit of time going around saying, "Has anybody found a jacket?" But apparently nobody had. So obviously somebody has. They're just not owning up to it. Yes, Time Profit. I use Reaper all the time. I've done all my recording, like you, in Reaper for quite some time. I used to be, I was Cakewalk Music Creator, then I went to Cakewalk Sonar, and then just everybody, well, mainly Glenn Fricker, really kept going on about Reaper being, as good as Pro Tools. And I was kind of thinking about, kind of going to Pro Tools at the time. So I tried Reaper, and I've never looked back. Yes, playing 45s at 33 RPM. That's the one, Con. That's what I was talking about earlier and got sidetracked. Yeah, the thing was, if you had a 33 RPM, sorry, a 45 RPM single, and you put it on at 33 RPM, it dropped it by a fifth. So you could kind of work something out in a different key, but then transpose it. The other great one was we used to have an old Danset record player that had a 16 RPM setting on it, so you could play stuff back at near enough not to make much of a real difference at half speed, and figure it out that way. The jacket was put behind the bar in the whiskey bar, was it, Bob? Well, they didn't tell me that when I called them. Right, okay. I shall pop in and grab that for you, Nigel, and post it down to you. I wonder why they didn't tell me. That's bizarre. Main thing is, Nigel, we've got your jacket. Any chance you could do a video of basic blues riffs, turnarounds, etc.? Yes. I did like a sort of beginner's intro thing to the blues a little while ago, but turnarounds and riffs and stuff like that. Yeah, that would be a good one to do. Okay, yeah, Paul Davids did link to a version he did of Autumn Leaves in Sound Slice, links to YouTube tutorial and can be slowed down. I need the slow version. Funnily enough, I've been working on a little version of Autumn Leaves. Well, I finished it, which might be going up as a tutorial at some point. Okay, Bob. Right, I shall pop in. I'll try and nip round tomorrow and grab that jacket for Nigel. Because I phoned the curry house, they hadn't found it, and then I phoned the whiskey bar, and the chap who answered the phone said he just denied all knowledge of there being a jacket. So who knows? I guess a classic case of the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing. Where are we? Yeah, that's the thing about Reaper. There are a zillion support videos, as Big Bucky says. The best. I can't remember the chap's name, Adam something or other, at Hot Pole Studios. He does a fantastic course on Reaper. But to be honest with you, I just dived straight in, and it's so intuitive that just a little bit of kind of faffing around and experimenting kind of got me there. It's, just, I suppose it depends. If you're used to using a DAW, then you kind of know what most of the things do, and it's just finding which menu it's in or whatever. I see we're talking about XTC making plans for Nigel in the in the chat there. What are your thoughts on parts casters? Having built a few and owned a few, I've just got a new parts caster today. Would you like a sneaky little preview of it? There's a chap who watches the channel, and he doesn't play guitar, but he builds guitars, and he turned up today with this. He just wanted to give me a guitar that he built. Now, you know my thoughts on offset body Fender style guitars. I'm not really into them. But you know what? Not just because this is a guitar that someone's given me and I don't want to offend them, which I would, I don't, but this is just that raised kind of center section like that. It kind of has more of a Firebird feel about it. And, it's got that kind of, I don't know, it somehow manages to look sleek and futuristic and like it's made from old barnwood at the same time. It's poplar and ebony, basically. And a chap called Peter, who has built a guitar for me and just given it to me. And, it's the kind of thing that makes me just feel really, really humble. I've got to be honest with you. So expect to be seeing a review of this guitar. A completely unbiased and objective review, rather, in the coming weeks. It is a nice guitar. He's done a really nice job. And the only cheeky thing is, if you look at the neck plate on the back, yeah, this hasn't come out of a Fender factory, but he has put his own decals on the top there like that. It's a lovely thing. So never say never is the moral of that story. I was always quite down on offset Fender guitars. But that just something about, I think it's to do with, when you get a Jazzmaster and it's got like a million switches and thumb wheels and stuff on it, that it just looks too cluttered. But this is it just kind of does it for me, really. So I'm, it's the old saying, isn't it? Change your mind, prove you've got one. I saw a guitar the other day made out of 2 ice hockey sticks. Yes, indeed. I bet that was from Canada, was it? XTC's Andy Partridge has used a Harley Benton for years. I did not know that. It's the same shape as my Ibanez Talman. Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember that model, but I've never made that connection. Our locking tuners the same size. I want to put some on my Harley Benton Gilmore Strat. To be honest with you, even if they're not, it's not a big job to open the holes. There's basically two sizes. There's like the vintage 8mm hole style or the more modern 10mm hole style. I suspect that the Harley Benton has probably, they look like old Clusen style holes, so it's probably going to be 8mm on those. But you can open them up, no problem. It's the work of minutes, providing you're brave and you've got a drill. If the tuner holes are 10mm, most aftermarket locking tuners will fit. Yes, indeed, Colin. But there are still some. So I think Crimson. A lot of their kits that they make have the 8mm holes, but there is like, I think Dave's World of Fun Stuff showed as a video where he kind of uses some kind of awl to open them out. But I just went like really, really slowly with a drill. And which guitar did I do that on? I can't remember. But there was one guitar where I was installing new tuners. It might have been one of my students' guitars that I did that on, and it had the 8mm holes, and I had to widen them out. But it's not a big job, It's if you are competent enough with a drill to like put up a shelf or something like that, then you can do it. Just make sure you've got the neck nicely secured, and so that it's not the drill ain't going to wander and you'll be fine. A reamer is better than drill. £5 from China. There you go. Just get yourself a reamer and sort it out. How long have Harley Benton been going? I first heard of them in about 10 years ago. And they were already pretty well a brand that was, open. That was a kind of an established brand then. I opened up the holes on my 70s Ibanez acoustic. The sphincter was going, but it turned out just fine. This is it, isn't it? There's this kind of trepidation of like, if you're putting up a new bathroom cabinet or, a shelf in the kitchen, it's you are kind of Mr. DIY and you'll kind of do the drilling no problem. But it's when you're taking a drill to your pride and joy, your guitar, it's like, oh, nervous now. Drill halfway through and then from the other side. Yes, I think that's what I did in the end. Where are we? On my Squire had 8mm holes and put Charla locking tuners on it. Had a pair of sharp scissors to that's one way of doing it. That's the scrap heap challenge solution, isn't it? If when all else fails, just use what's at hand, and if it works, it works. According to the Toman website, they launched the Harley Benton brand in 1998. Thing is, putting up shelves, get it wrong, polyfiller, get it wrong with the guitar. Ouch! There is that. Guitars and drills do not mix, especially if I hold the drill. Where are we? Let's just scroll back up the chat to see what I've missed. Yes, Craig. I would love to do a Crimson guitar building course. Defo looking into that. Yeah, that would be. I mean, here's the thing. My missus makes jewellery, as you know, because the link is in the description of all the videos, and she makes some really rather nice jewellery. So I'm just saying, if you're stuck for a gift idea for your nearest and dearest, genuine gemstone handmade jewellery, check it out. Anyway, but the company that she buys the gemstones and the bits and pieces from, they do jewelry building kind of weekends, jewelry making courses. So keep thinking maybe I could go on a Crimson guitar course and she could go on one of these jewelry building courses where she learns all about how to make fancy earrings and necklaces. And she comes back with, a suite of jewelry, as they call it, and I come back with a new Strat or new Telecaster or something. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? If you slip with a drill, just call it relic and double the price. Hi John, have you got any plans on doing a meet and greet travelling around the UK? If you come to Oxford, the first pint's on me, mate. I would love to do that. It's just the thing is with that. It's the time I would have to take off from work. I mean, I am the hamster in the wheel at the moment, as I say, about 70 hours a week. Mike from China Guitar Skeptic, very come back with a head tattoo. Yes. What course would the dog be doing? Advanced, eating. He's a food motivated dog. Where was it? Yeah, China Mike invited me to the British Boutique Guitar Festival, and apart from the fact that the wife had just come out of hospital at the time and she wasn't very mobile, she's fine now. She's back at work and everything. But that was a consideration, but it would have meant cancelling, quite a substantial monetary values worth of lessons. And that's the kind of thing I've got to kind of think of. And to be honest with you, if I'm going to be taking that sort of time off to go somewhere, I think my missus deserves a holiday, more than anything else. So that is what I'm thinking about for next year. We'll see if we can manage it. John, the GS2 telly is done. One volume and one tone and coil split on the volume. Okay, mate. Well, I think we need to see some pictures of that, or maybe chuck a video up if you've, or send me a video and I'll chuck it up on the channel. Let's bombard Ben Crow with requests that he invites you to his shop. His last video is only 7 hours old. Yeah, I think you lads think that I have more reach and more clout than I actually have. Somebody in the Player Strat video that I did, which I said was beautifully set up, which it was absolutely impeccably set up. I mean, I couldn't fault it in any way, shape or form. Somebody in the comments said, oh yeah, but you're on YouTube, so they're going to send you a good one. I honestly don't think that, deep in the bowels of Guitar Amp Keyboard, in where is it, Brighton, I think they're based. I honestly don't think that they said, hey, we've got an order from that fat lad in Redcar. Make sure you send him a good one. I just don't think I've got that kind of influence to it. I'm not Phil McKnight. I've got the same haircut, but it's I just don't think that with what have I got, 20,000 viewers, subscribers or something last time I checked. I just don't think that I'm a very small fish in a very big pond, so I don't really think I have that kind of influence. Oh, thank you, Das Schaff. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Let's all raise a glass to Das Schaff. £5 for Zoe's place. It will come in very handy for them, I am sure. There we go. It's called GAC. Yes, I know, Ian, but there is what you got to remember is that we all have our little colloquialisms. I managed to say that pretty well after a few beers, colloquialisms. It's up in this part of the world, the word GAC Well, it's another term for the technicolor yawn. You know, calling Huey on the big white telephone. That one. You know, the thing that happens after you've had, you know, several too many beers. I'm also on YouTube, but I don't get a penny. I got about 170 subscribers. I do it for fun. Yeah, well, for many years, I mean, I started on YouTube in 2008. Back in the days before you had a YouTube channel, you just had a YouTube account in those days. And from 2008 to 2018, I was unmonetized, and I had after 10 years, I had 200, 300 subscribers, something like that. Videos would get like 40 views or something. And I just had, you know, I just used to treat it as like a way of essentially wandering up to the top of the mountain and shouting into the wind, basically. Nobody was watching, so I could say whatever I wanted. And then I did this one video, the Strat that Fender won't let you own, where, you know, basically I was having a bit of a pop at Fender for an obvious hole in their range of Stratocasters. And suddenly within about a week, for some reason, the algorithm picked up on it, and I was monetized, and I was earning money from my YouTube videos. So, you know, that's, and then I thought, oh, okay, I better start taking it a bit more seriously now. My review of Valley of the Gwangi, I don't know what that is, has nearly 3,000 views. That's what I call a success. Good for you, mate. Yep. Who's that saying? PMT, bad news for a music store chain, indeed. Yes, let's not go there, eh? It isn't PMS anyway. Anyway, chaps, we've been on over an hour, and I'm starting to get hungry for me curry. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you, a big, big thank you, once again, to everyone who turned up last week. We are going to do it again. There may even be some music involved, as I said earlier. And, you know, if you didn't turn up last time, you know, try and get there next time if you fancy it. But thank you once again, everybody, for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk cobblers and drink beer for an hour. It never ceases to amaze me that you turn up every Friday to watch that. But thank you anyway. It's been a blast, and I'll see you all on the next one. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.